Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch. I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. And today's little chat was inspired by me going out into my backyard. I've got a backyard out that way, and then I've got the main garden, which is the front garden, in the opposite direction. And because I live on a mountainside, I've also got a top garden, which is up a flight of steps. So it always sounds a bit odd when I talk about my garden. But anyway, this is the backyard, which is just outside the kitchen door. And that noise you can hear is one of the dogs moving around on their bed. So please do your best to ignore that. Anyway, what happened this morning, I was out the garden and the yard, and I was sweeping, which is not something I do very often because I don't go looking for work, to be honest with you. I don't. Housework is not my forte. Tidying is not my forte, which is where this little chat comes from. And I was out there and I was thinking, gosh, most people would have something like a leaf blower or one of these outdoor vacuum things to clean up their yard, whereas I tend to leave it and it all deposits itself in little drifts against the flower pots and the statues and the garden bench out there and things like that. And I thought, oh, maybe one of these days I ought to make an effort and get down and do something when I feel well, which isn't often. And then I thought to myself, well, no, hang on a minute, because a lot of what the mess is leaves. As the leaves drop off and die, they blow around, and they often blow around into these little drifts around the flower pots, around the little statues and ornaments out there, around my garden bench, and they build up. And of course, during the winter months, this becomes a hideaway, a place for small insects to gather, and they hide away and they overwinter there. So it's like I've set up little shelters all over the place. And actually further down the garden towards the front gate, we've got a little area in front of the garage, and that is totally overgrown. It's about 6 foot high in weeds. Not junk. I don't throw washing machines or anything out there. It's just leaves and old weeds and things I've cut down and thrown there, or stuff that's growing through it, you know. And that's, well, I wouldn't like to think what's out there. I know there's some slow worms out there, and occasionally I've seen a hedgehog emerge from it, so I'm not clearing it any time quick. So, you know, you get neighbours pass by and say, oh, aren't you going to do something about that? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do anything about it. And so on a smaller scale, I spotted it in the backyard today, and then I was thinking about how I ought to clean it all up. And then I realised, well, maybe no, I shouldn't clean it all up. Maybe I should just leave it be, because what is untidiness to me, and a little bit of mess, if you like, is actually home to all these little creatures, and they become part of the ecosystem. You know, the insects come out, they pollinate flowers, birds eat them. It's all part of nature's system. It's not really necessary. Oh, this heavy breathing in the background now, that's Homer. I don't know. What is he doing? Do you know? No, nobody knows what he's doing. Okay. Well, we'll leave him go on with it. Oh, there we go. So I'll have to finish this one quick. So what occurred to me is that sometimes great things come from untidiness, from just leaving things be. You know, there's an awful lot of people who think, oh, you ought to tidy all your books away. Well, that's a bit of a joke in my study. They're all over the place. And that's how sometimes you find things you're not really looking for, or things you forgot you had. You find them because it's untidy. And I think we're often brought up to think that untidiness is somehow a great failure on our part. It's a sort of a failure of our character. And it isn't. It isn't. Great things come from a bit of untidiness. Great things grow in the dark, and then we discover them. So it's just a little thought to put out there, and I better finish now before Homer really starts barking. I think he wants me to change his bed, probably. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Sorry for the interruptions. Goodbye.